Is it on PS4?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to AFL Madden 17 team selection. And tonight we are going to be discussing the AFC West. Stokes, I think of the divisions that are left, this one might have the best mix of teams as far as popularity goes.
I could agree with that. You got a lot of things that can be offered from every team with the Raiders, except for the Chargers. They're not all that great, but you can still build them. But I mean, you got the Broncos, Super Bowl champs, and great defense. You got the Raiders, who are pretty much always a Madden relevant team, and the Chiefs. They've got a lot of talent for like years 1 and 2, but after that, it might get a little hazy.
And JD's back with us tonight, fresh off of some ACL surgery. JD, how's it going tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm a little, I'll be a little calmer.
Okay.
Tonight.
We like
I don't
that.
have the energy.
We'll try to take care of you. If you start to get your head in the clouds a little bit, we'll take you off the air to protect your reputation.
That's right.
So we got you covered. All right, guys, let's get into it. We have 3 divisions left. We have 10 teams left to discover because 2 of those teams have already been revealed. Me getting the Vikings and, where are we even at here? The North, Magic getting the Steelers. So tonight we do have 4 teams to reveal, and then we have 6 left after that. And let's find out who's going to the AFC West. First team off the board, San Diego Chargers go to Bailey. And that's kind of an not an eye scratcher. You don't want to scratch your eye. It's not good for you. But it's kind of a head scratcher. But you have to remember, Bailey made a trade this week with Pick 6. And Pick 6 had previously made a trade with Westside Charles. Westside Charles was originally slated to go to San Diego. He is now in Carolina. And that puts Bailey in San Diego. Stokes, you mentioned that San Diego probably is the least attractive team of this mix, but they're not devoid of talent. They have Keenan Allen. They have Melvin Gordon, a running back I know you love. They have Jason Verrett. They have a nice young tight end in Hunter Henry. Phillip Rivers is a little long in the tooth, but this roster is not empty.
That's correct. It's not empty. It's just of the 4 teams, it would be the team you would least likely want. But I think Bailey is a good enough owner. He's shrewd enough in the trade that I think he'll be able to turn that team around.
So we talked about on the last show, we had some heavy hitters left, and one of them comes off the board, and it's going to the AFC. That might be a theme tonight in our attempt to balance out the conferences. We might see some balance by the end of the show. Let's find out the next owner. Kansas City Chiefs go to Cody. Cody was the Chiefs in AFL Restart. He made his announcement a couple days ago that he has turned in his allegiance from the Rams. They left St. Louis, went to LA, and he is now a Chiefs fan for those that don't understand what that means. In St. Louis, they tend to air a lot of KC games locally anyway, so it made a lot of sense for him. JD, Cody's a good player. He competes for playoff spots both in AFL and in PS4, and that defense in Kansas City is loaded with pass-rushing linebackers and good defensive backs.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think this is probably the AFC West is probably the best overall division in the game. So there's not really a weak team. I mean, when you look through the
We're going to try to sort out what's going on with JD's audio here. But, Stokes, just follow up on that point. You were really high on
not really a weak team.
You kind of cut out there a little bit there, JD. But, yeah, I think what JD, the point he was trying to make was the AFC West doesn't really have a weak team. Stokes, you were high on the Chiefs going into this team selection process.
Yeah, I was pretty much they were one of the final few teams I was looking at. I like the thought of having Tom Bahaley and Justin Houston on the outsides. Then you can switch around D Ford and you got Dontari Poe and Derek Johnson. So that defense is really, really, really good. And I thought that having the offense, Kelsey's he's my favorite tight end in the NFL. So I would have liked to have him, but I really like the team. If I wasn't going to be in Buffalo, I might have been in KC.
So paying attention to chat, it looks like the stream cut out a little bit. You guys didn't miss anything. Cody in Kansas City, and the first team we revealed was Bailey in San Diego. Sorry we're having a little bit of technical issues tonight. Hopefully those correct themselves as the show goes on. Let's find out the third team now in the NFC West, and it's going to be Cheese. So we're 3 for 3 with playoff teams, and this is another Super Bowl contender along with Bailey. And Cheese gets the Denver Broncos. He's sold out of the Seattle Seahawks. And Stokes, I think he found himself a comfortable landing spot.
Yeah, it's $200 and something to go from Seattle to Denver. That's not that far of a drop off as far as talent is concerned. I mean, he got a great deal. He's getting a really good team, and yeah, the defense is ready to roll as far as being as good as can be, and it's just a matter of what you're going to do offensively. I mean, they have a rookie quarterback who you can build up, and that's good. And Demaryius Thomas, he's one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. So this is a great end to the what happened.
Well, and I think that Denver is one of those teams that if you can deal with the quarterback, like we don't know his stats and all that, but for a first-year team, if you're Denver, you give yourself a really, really good shot at getting a bowl year one. Because, by the way, my voice is a little scratchy. They intubated me, so they put the oxygen down my throat and all that. So
you're good.
Denver's one of those teams that has all the pieces year one before everybody creates super teams. And those DBs, the pass rush, your wide receivers, you could make a deep run with them, especially a guy like Cheese, I think.
Yeah, it's a great spot for him. What I noticed when I was looking at the Broncos roster is they have plenty of talent, but they just don't have a lot of young talent. Von Miller's young, and he's as talented as it gets. Paxton Lynch is young, and he's very talented. But at the receiver position, Sanders and Thomas are both a year away from being 30. They're tied in. I'm having trouble remembering his name at this point. Green. Not Ladarius, the other Green. Virgil Green, thank you. He's like 26, 27, so he still has some years left, and he's actually a pretty good athlete. They do have Shane Ray, cornerbacks. They have some young ones in Roby and Harris, but Aqib Talib's getting a little older. I've never been a big TJ Ward guy in Madden. DeMarcus Ware's a little older. So like JD said...
His zone coverage is so low. I was just looking at that the other day, yeah. TJ, he's a heavy hitter, and he's got good pursuit, but his coverage is so low. And if the game works where... your zone coverage works against their catching traffic, he's going to lose a lot of those battles.
Yeah, and last year, the heavy hitter thing was really overblown. The hit stick really wasn't a thing in Madden 16 as much as it had been in previous Madden, so maybe the hit sticks will get some love in Madden 17. So just to recap, we have Cheese in Denver, we have Cody in Kansas City, we have Bailey in San Diego, and that leaves the Oakland Raiders. So let's find out who's going to this team to round out this division, and the answer to that question is SJR. SJR gets the Raiders. They were tied with Jacksonville for the most popular team in this entire process, so it's no surprise they go to one of our best owners. Tons of young talent on this team to build around. Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, Khalil Mack. They also have another young quarterback, Connor Cook, who they drafted this year. Latavius Murray is one of the best young running backs in the game. Stokes, I'll start with you. There's not a lot to hate about the Raiders.
No, there's a reason I wanted them in restart. They're pretty much loaded as far as anything you really want as far as Madden is concerned. You got good corners, good linebackers, good defensive line, and Lat Murray. He's 6'3" and he's got the 90 speed, and I think the height really helps him out. So you can't really go wrong with this Raiders squad. I mean, you have a lot of trade pieces as well as pieces you can use to build around.
And I see Tuton asking the question about why is Cook a hidden gem, and that's a good question because there are a lot on the Raiders we could have picked from, but knowing SJR's mentality, he is going to try to change over that roster. That gives him flexibility. If he wanted to ship out Derek Carr for a king's ransom, he could. But Connor Cook had one of the stronger arms in the draft. He's a decently mobile quarterback. I think he's going to rate out around 92, 93 throw power with probably mid to high 70s speed, maybe mid to low 70s. But for a team like Arizona, a team like New England, a team like Pittsburgh that has an older quarterback that's looking for that heir apparent, SJR can get some decent trade value for Connor Cook. So that's why I chose him as the hidden gem. Carl Joseph is another good one, and he was the first-round pick, so Stokes gave me some shit about using a first-round pick in one of our first shows as a hidden gem, so I've been trying to stay away from those guys, but definitely appreciate the suggestions. And so that rounds out the AFC West, guys. SJR, Cheese, Cody, and Bailey. Is that our best division yet?
Probably the most balanced one. I think you've got some divisions with maybe a heavier hitter than that. Well, I don't know. Bailey's a heavy hitter, so in my opinion, I think that Bailey has probably the best shot at winning this division year in and year out. But again, year one, he's got the worst team. So, and Cody's no joke. So, it's going to be this division to be fun to watch, actually.
Joker says that Nino Stokes' division is probably better. It's definitely more top-heavy, but you have three guys in this division two guys in this division that have won Super Bowls, one guy that's been in multiple Super Bowls, and then Cody's a guy that's been to the playoffs pretty much every year he's been in AFL. There's not one name in this division, guys, that...
No, there's not. You can't go to sleep any week.
If I told you right now, picked a name out of a hat and said this guy was winning the division next year, you both would be like, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think this division is going to be a prime example, too, of whoever's the top seed, playing the other division winners. It's going to balance it out. I think you're going to see this division rotate, right? Mm-hmm. Where those two games that you get versus number ones because of your record is really going to affect the outcome of this division, I think.
I really am interested to see what Cheese does with the Broncos. He's one of our most talented owners. He's a very good team builder. Through the years when user catch wasn't super easy like it was last year in Madden 16, he really made his hay on being one of the elite user catchers. And if it's not as easy in 17 as it was in 16, I think Cheese can separate himself from the pack with guys like Demaryius Thomas out there. But if it's still just throw it up and hold a button, then he'll still have a good chance, but everybody else will. So, guys, we might actually have some callers on tonight that found themselves in this division. SJR and Cody had told me ahead of the show that if they got selected tonight, that they would like to call in. So I think we're going to try to make that happen.
Sounds good.
So, guys, we got...
I don't even know who Jordan Taylor is, though. Can you tell me about Jordan Taylor? I don't know that name.
He's a 6'4", 6'5" wide receiver that has 4.5, or like sub 4.5 speed. So
okay,
he's got decent attributes. He's got elite size. You probably have to work on his catching ability.
Huh. Where's he out of? Do you know?
I want to say, this is completely going off memory, maybe Nevada, but I'm...
So he's a small school guy. That's why I just never heard of the guy. So it's interesting.
Dialing up Cody now, and then we're going to try to also dial up SJR to get this thing going. Luckily, they're both online, so that increases.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, Cody?
Not too much.
So you get your real-life favorite team of about 3 days. You had this team in AFL Restart. You're familiar with their roster. Just tell us about your thoughts.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty excited about this. I'm the type of person. How do I get this revert off?
You gotta turn the sound off on your stream.
All right, on Skype. Oh, on stream.
On your stream, yeah.
Yeah, if you have stream open, go ahead and close it. It'll make it a lot better for you.
All right. Hopefully this
all really smart people make that mistake.
Okay. All right, so hopefully I'm good now. All right, so yeah, I mean, I've been eyeballing the Kansas City Chiefs for a while. Just the fact that the Rams were leaving. I mean, if you guys have ever been to a football game, I'm sure it's pretty fun for you guys, but going to a game in like St. Louis is just miserable. You have fans coming out of town more than actual Rams fans. Rams fans don't know how to cheer, so it's just really blah if you go to the game. So it's not really exciting. It's not really a fun atmosphere. So, but living only 2.5 hours away from Kansas City, we hear all about the Chiefs. We hear about their organization. They're always filling out their stadium and stuff like that. So we feel as if they're a great football team. So that's an atmosphere that I would like to experience in the future because I've never had it before. But when it comes to Madden, I'm used to the team. Played with them, I think, in both seasons last year. When I came in like halfway through season 1, I was actually given the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. I was given them in PS4, and then I took them in the restart again just because I really liked what I saw. Couple of my favorite players, Marcus Peters. That dude is unbelievable. I mean, any ball that would go his way, he was intercepting it. Gaines is another guy I really enjoy. And then Eric Berry, I feel like I got 3 of like the 4 defensive backs that I really need that are going to be out there 100% of the time. Linebackers, Justin Houston. I mean, he's one of the best defensive players in the league. I mean, he's maxed out. I maxed him out a couple of times in different leagues. I know JD stole him from me in one of the leagues. He traded for him, so I probably won't give him up. But, I mean, it's just an overall fun team. Jamal Charles, I don't know what I'm going to do with him, but he was just dominating when I used him. I might have to trade him, but they have a couple good backups as well, so I'm just pretty excited about using the team again.
Yeah, they do have some good backups in West and then Ware, who established themselves last year. But Stokes, I think your favorite running back on the depth chart might be the guy that never gets the ball.
Are you referring to Nile?
I am referring to Nile.
Okay, he's always been like a Madden gem, and pretty much every Madden people flock to the Chiefs because they have Jamal Charles, and then there's other guys who trade Charles to build around Nile because he's got high speed and high strength, making him, conversely high truck as well, which is opposite of Charles. So I think he's going to get nerfed this year because of his bad playoff or his fumbling issues. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. But overall, I would probably rather build around Nile because he's a more power back and same type of speed, and he's a whole lot younger.
Yeah, like he compares to Carlos Williams for me, only bigger and stronger and faster. So I think he'll make the team too because he's their primary kick returner. Cody, just to piggyback on what you said, I've been to Arrowhead twice. It's an amazing atmosphere. I've been there when the Chiefs were good, been there when they were bad. It didn't matter. It was the most fun game day experience I've had outside of going to Buffalo for a game, only because that's my team, so I really enjoyed it. Guys, and Cody is not lying about the atmosphere in St. Louis. It was a joke. I mean, they would have these things called Ram rules where they had to explain to the fans, like, okay, when the offense for the other team has the ball, what do we do, guys? We cheer. And when our team has the ball, we get really quiet. But when they're on offense, what do we say? Defense. I encourage all of you to look it up on YouTube. It's hilarious and made St. Louis fans look like a bunch of noobs, but the Rams were just that out of touch, thinking that people needed that to be explained. Speaking of guys who could probably go on and on about how much they hate the Rams, what's going on, SJR?
Love them.
Don't even get me started, guys.
All right, SJR, you landed in Oakland, but feel free to vent on the Rams if you want to, but then go ahead.
I just want to clear the air. Fuck the Chiefs and fuck the NFL.
Whoa.
That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Hey, man, watch your fucking mouth. This is a family show.
Sorry. But the Chiefs owner was kind of the one of the owners that was on the LA committee that actually voted for the Rams to move. So I certainly won't be rooting for the Chiefs anytime soon.
See, now I thought I read that wrong. Maybe I read it wrong, but I thought he was like the only owner that voted against it.
No, he was the only one that was on the LA committee. He was the only one that voted for the Rams to move.
Oh, on the actual
Well, because it's going to help him out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's what he thinks.
I'm moving there.
I'm still in mourning for this season at least. I probably won't watch any games on Sunday, so I'm pretty out of touch with all the moves that all the teams have made. So it kind of made team selection a little bit more challenging for me, but ultimately went with the Raiders. I like their young talent. That's kind of one of the things I always look for is what teams can I build with, because everyone knows I'll probably trade half the team by the end of the season. So, but I'm not sure if this division is a blessing or a curse, because we could have been in here with Vane and Pick from what it sounds like if you follow all the trades. So I'm not sure if Vane or Pick versus Cheese or Bailey. I'm not sure which is better, to be honest. Probably for my sanity, I'd probably rather play Cheese and Bailey twice a year. So,
yeah, I would probably agree with that. Competition-wise, I think it steps up a notch with Cheese and Bailey. What do you guys think about this division, though? There's not a soft spot in this division. I'm going to go through it again for the guys watching. SJR in Oakland, Cheese in Denver, Cody in Kansas City, Bailey in San Diego. We were talking about it before, guys. You have two guys in SJR and Cheese who have won AFL Super Bowls. Or I'm sorry, SJR and Bailey. You have Cheese, who's been to multiple Super Bowls in multiple different versions of Madden. And then you have Cody, who makes the playoffs virtually every season he's in AFL. So they're just not an easy opponent in this division.
Yeah, the other day I was kind of joking, but I compared this division to I don't remember what version of Madden it was, but it was Josh and Cheese and K-Will and Berto were in the NFC East, and I would put this division right up there with that one. And shamefully, I'll at this point I have to claim that I am the Berto of the division because I think I'm less than 500 against all three of these guys, so I have a uphill battle here.
Well, you got a chance to prove yourself. I do think it's interesting here, and you say the other day you thought about this division. Stokes, I've been super impressed with these guys, especially as we've gotten closer to the end of this process with how accurate some of their predictions have been on these divisions.
Yeah, I mean, they're understanding the process much better as it goes along, and they're able to get really close. And unfortunately, we want to give you guys credit for being right, but we certainly can't, because that would take a lot of fun out of it for us. So
we've been in each other's PMs though, like how the hell?
Yeah,
you can thank T-Mag for all this. He's kind of going around gathering all the intel from everyone and sharing it with everyone. So,
but I gotta give him
real surprise there.
I gotta give him credit though, because even having people's lists, he still has to put it together. And I'm telling you, like, the way we think is not the way the list would have it go. So for him to put it together as well as he has, it's a huge credit to him. I really don't have a clue how he does it. So, Cody, you've been quiet for a little bit. We didn't quite ask you your opinion on this division, top to bottom. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be fucking fun, to be honest. Like, these guys, I feel like I'm not too familiar with Bailey or Cheese as much. I think I might have played Cheese like one time. I don't think I ever played Bailey, but I know he's a top baller. But I think I'd rather see, this balance of a league rather than like having like a Nino or a Stokes in this division, because you know how it was last season. I feel like I was always number 2 to Stokes, and I'd rather be competing with all these guys, I think. So.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for you're in a division, you're with 4 really solid guys that you can't sleep on, but you're all in a position where you're playing somebody you think you can beat if you play your game.
That's what I was thinking.
But with Nino and Stokes, most guys in AFL would look at it like, well, if I play these guys 10 times, I might be lucky to win once or twice.
Right.
So you might go into every season thinking like, my division rival might lose 1 or 2 games along the way, so I'm probably playing for a wild card. This way, it's wide open, and those division games are going to be 1, super fun, and 2, vital.
Yeah, I think too that you're not going to see a wild card come out of this division, because I think unless someone rises up as a clear cut number 1 and kind of runs through the division. I think what's going to happen is they're going to beat up on each other, and you're going to have a bunch of guys that are like, 9-7, maybe 10-6, and number 2 is going to be like 8-8. And I think it's going to be hard pressed to get a second person out of this division if it goes the way I think, which is everyone beats up on everybody.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah, I like that point. I kind of like that too, because it's going to make the whole season interesting. And like you said, like almost every game is going to be competitive, and that's the way I like. That's what makes me want to play the game, I want to compete every time.
No, that last season of AFL Restart, I was on point because I had such a hard schedule, and I was literally I lost to Prime, in the first week, 14-12. And literally from that point forward, it was like playoffs. Every advance was a playoff game, because if I lost again, I was going to be out. It made it a lot of fun.
All right, guys. Well, let's talk about now what we know about AFL Madden 17. With the 4 teams we got in there tonight, Cheese in Denver, Cody in Kansas City, SJR in Oakland, and Bailey in San Diego, that gives us all but 3 teams in each conference. So for those watching at home, you can kind of see how it shakes out. Now, for the heavy hitters, we have Stokes and Nino in the AFC East, along with Roman and Mega. So far, none in the AFC North. We do have Magic sitting there in Pittsburgh. In the AFC South, the only heavy hitter we really have there is Danny, but then we also have RVD, Sham, and Stang. AFC West, you could make the case that all 4 of these guys are heavy hitters. So we were talking about on the last show that the AFC needed some talent, and I alluded to the fact that help was on the way. Well, help has been on the way, and help has arrived, guys. Cheese, Cody, SJR, Bailey joined Danny, Nino, and Stokes. Somebody tell me that's a weak conference. That's tough.
KC's going to win it.
The only thing that means is it's mathematically impossible for Cheese, Cody, SJR, and Bailey to all be in the playoffs because at most you can get 2 teams from one division outside of the division winner. But to me now, if you look at heavy hitters, Stokes, Nino, Danny, the 4 from the AFC West, and then on the NFC side you would have Edub, Josh, KJ, JD, nobody in the West. No, I was thinking Prime. I can't quite put Hitman there. So really, and when you look at it, so I think now the balance has shifted back to where the AFC almost has more, but there's still Joker sitting out there. We got to see where he's landing. He to me is super confident he's going to Detroit at this point. So if you go by what he thinks, then that would create perfect balance.
And here's the truth, though. The truth is, when you combined AFL with PS4, it's just a loaded CFM period.
Yeah.
I mean, we are loaded, guys. It's pretty. These schedules are going to be hard.
Yeah, and
yeah.
We're seeing that in PS4 also, where I'm talking to JD and Stokes because I was on the clock today for my team, and I'm like, well, if I go to this division, this guy could go here, and if I go to this division, this guy could go here, and finally it's like, okay, well, I have to pick my team today, and then Joker, JD, Edub, Nino, Two-Ton, MVP are still yet to pick. So why don't I just pick the team I want the most and see what happens? Because and Danny's back there. So the only thing I don't want to see, I love the fact that we've joined up with PS4 and really kind of combined the best of both leagues in both leagues. I just don't want to see a situation where we have more than like a 20 crossover, because then it just feels like, AFL and AFL2 or PS4 and PS4 2. I think we have a good mix right now with only 13. But yeah, like JD said, the talent to me is as deep as it was in Stokes. We alluded to it a lot in AFL Restart that it even felt that way.
Yeah, it's I'm very happy with the changes we've made and the additions we've made to the league, and it makes it a lot of fun when you go and look at your schedule. Oh, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win, or rather, that's an easy win. But you see guys that that you're gonna have a lot of tough games against, and that's great for the league, and that makes it a lot more competitive when you go into it, getting excited for your next week's game because you're playing someone who's really good. So I'm very happy with this.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I'm about ready to wrap this up. If you guys are, I did want to touch on one more thing. We had a nice little debate today on wide receiver run block, quarterback block shed. If anybody on here would like to voice their opinions, I know we have a mix of guys on this show. JD and I are in the camp of just don't let anybody touch it. Stokes is in the camp. I'll let Stokes say what camp he's in, but he doesn't agree with us. I think, Stokes, you're in the camp of let's cap it, but let them increase it a little bit. And I think SJR and Cody, if memory serves, are in the camp of let's wait and see how the game plays. Have all that correct?
Well, so I'm in the camp of wait and see, but I think we have to do something. And to be honest, I don't have a strong feeling either way. I mean, I would rather just say not at all, but if we capped it, it would be the end of the world to me, right? So it's not like I'm hardcore, don't do anything. I think that's the best solution. But really, we have to wait and see if the prices went up. Because if it's, if you've got 45 run block and it's 1,000 XP to go to 46, no one's going to do it anyways. You just leave it alone.
It's true.
I mean, so it's kind of like, what's the attribute that's like that where nobody messed with it this year? I can't remember. I'm a little out of it.
I feel like strength is like that a lot for me. And there's a lot of positions where strength is nice, but it's always so cost prohibitive.
Well, and also it doesn't have the same effect on the game. So the problem with run block and CB block shed is they have a huge impact on the way the game plays, and they were cheap as dirt. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to, you could just pump XP into it and really break the game. So, but if they change it, they change it. So hopefully they do, and hopefully they make it cost more to get a running back's route running up, because it's not fair to be able to get a running back to 90 route run in a season and then go out there and just destroy linebackers either, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the game plays, because on AFL Madden 16, we had the slider set at regular, and guys were complaining they couldn't progress anybody. And then in Restart, we doubled it, and it seemed like you could juice up anybody as long as you did your weekly XP. SJR, I know you're a guy that follows the trends of attribute gains and losses. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm kind of wanting to see how the game plays before I really have too strong of an opinion. But in general, my vote would be just to let everyone do as they please. But I said that earlier, not realizing how easy it was to get run block to 99, as JD later informed me. So depending on what changes they made, will kind of influence how I feel about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not so sure. I just don't, in EA, I don't have, I like what they're doing. I like the gameplay, but sometimes the details with EA get lost, right?
And if we're being honest, they probably didn't touch it at all. So it'll probably be the same as last.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't talked about it, so I'm doubting. I know I'm in the minority because I know a lot of guys liked being able to pick and choose which attributes they improve. I actually enjoyed it more back before Madden 13 came around, when Connected Franchise was really born, and it was just franchise mode, where you had players on your team, they had different levels of development, and then based on how you played during the season and in their age and things like that, Madden would just improve them or regress them. And you, after the draft or after the offseason, everybody would cross their fingers and be like, oh, look, this dude is now 84 overall, and he got 1 speed point or something like that. And it was kind of like Christmas. You'd see where all your guys were. But it was, you would never have like, oh, man, Calvin Johnson went from 65 run block to 99, because it was more like realistic improvement. So I think it's a little cheesy that you can pick and choose where to improve, but then again, real life coaches can look at players and say, hey, if I can just improve your technique in this area, you could be a superstar. So I'd like to see some give and take. Maybe down the line it'd be nice if you can tell your coaches to work on one area with a certain player, and then based on his development ability, and even like the coaches you hire, their ability, maybe a rating is generated that way instead of just a simple do this drill, you get this much XP and you can pump it in. But hey, I think I'm thinking a little too hard about this. I think, like SJR said, this isn't MUT, so we should be happy with what they give us.
Well, you guys realize at the end of the day, the whole XP thing, we're a bunch of jocks playing a fantasy game, right? So it's just like they basically took all the characteristics of like a fantasy, like an online. What is the game that everybody plays online, where you get the warrior and the sorcerer, and you upgrade them and get spell? What y'all know what I'm talking about? Like kind of like Dungeons and Dragons.
World of Warcraft?
Yeah, World of Warcraft. That's what I'm trying to think of. Never played it before, but that's essentially what we're doing, just with football.
Yeah, that's true. I have read before in different articles that video gamers like little wins inside of big wins. So, it's not most people aren't going to be able to keep their attention span that the only victory is winning the Super Bowl at the end of the year. You need little wins where along the way you can improve your players even if you're not winning games. And that's what you see about MUT that makes it so addicting, that even if you're not even good at Madden, you can have fun building your team and doing things to earn money and getting cards, and that's what we see come over to Connected Franchise also. So JD getting made fun of now for not knowing what World of Warcraft was in PS4 chat. So JD,
yeah,
you should be ashamed of yourself.
My mind is not operating at 100% tonight, guys.
I didn't know what it was either, so don't even feel bad about it. Cody, you've been kind of quiet. What are your thoughts on this wide receiver run block, cornerback block shed thing?
To be honest, I'm kind of cut in the middle. I'd like to wait. I feel like if we take it out, it's really taking away from those guys that set themselves apart. Like, I don't know, I would say Stokes and Nino and even maybe yourself, that go like above and beyond and try to find these statistics that really set themselves apart. Like maybe they go offline and they look on the franchise and they try to like mess with the attributes, like awareness. Does that work at all? Does that help your player at all? I don't know if these guys are doing that, but I feel like some of them do. And that kind of takes away from what they're doing, right? They take that extra time to do that. The other side, the reason why I'm in the middle of this is because I don't feel like I noticed it as much as other people. I played Stokes a lot. I just felt like that dude was a good runner. The only time I started seeing it is when I got Julio Jones on my team, and that guy did pancake everybody. But the whole Madden 16 itself, I never changed any of those statistics myself, and I felt like I was a pretty good runner. So I don't, I'll just leave it as that.
You can be a good runner, but there was a point when the pancakes broke the game, and it became Madden 25 again. Remember Run Free?
Yeah.
It literally had that feel to it, and that was probably my least favorite version of Madden since Madden 11.
You talking about PS3 Madden 25?
I think we played half of both. How did that go? I can't remember.
I don't. Yeah. I'm not quite sure when you got your PS4. AFL was half and half. I remember watching on PS3. Nino played K-Will in a conference championship game, and K-Will had Adrian Peterson on his team. And I don't hate to see Nino lose. He's won enough, but I actually felt bad for him that game because he would miss like 4 tackles, and Peterson would just truck his defensive back. And when I say truck, I don't mean like run over him, slow down, get his speed back up and go. It was like full speed, run him over, not even like slow down a second. And then Nino's second tackler would come in and bounce off like a bowling pin. And it was just like, okay, Nino, what can you do here? And K-Will won the game. But then lost the bowl, Stokes.
So I do have a question. Like, if we need to make a decision on this, have you guys started to talk about, like, do you need to have this poll like cut off at a certain point, or are you gonna wait to let us play like maybe a month to change it? Like, how is that gonna work out?
Yeah, you heard that.
Yeah. So the reasoning behind the poll is the commissioners have been talking about this for a while behind the scenes, shooting out ideas and having basically similar conversations to what you guys had today. And then we finally said, hey, let's just open it up to the league and let's give them very general scenarios. Let's not give them anything that's set in stone. So you notice we didn't say, like, let's cap it at 3 points or cap it. It was just like, should there be a cap? Should you focus on both attributes, just one, or just say you can't touch it, or just leave it as it was? And then the ideal scenario would be like we have 32 votes and like 25 votes all go to one particular bucket on the poll, and then it's like, okay, well, we know that's what the league wants. We can focus our energy into creating a rule that falls under that. The problem is right now is we have 2 different ones that are really standing out. But the good news is the league's telling us that it doesn't like the status quo. So I think it makes the most sense for us to wait until Madden 17 drops to really figure out what we're going to do. But I think we have to go into Madden 17 knowing we're going to do something to change it, unless something happens in that 2 weeks that we're playing the game or whatever before we start franchise mode, or 1 week or whatever it is, and we just realize that it doesn't matter how much run block you have, it's not a built-in advantage. Or like JD said, they've just made it more sound budget-wise, where if you have to spend 1,000 points on one run block point, then hey, more power to you. That's where you really want to invest your improvement on your wide receiver. But as is, it was like 200 or 300 points to get out of the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So it was just an easy decision. So long answer short, I wouldn't expect us to have a rule posted tomorrow. I think we're going to try to figure out the general direction the league wants us to go, and then put our heads together and figure out what the best answer is. And we actually have other topics we're talking about too, but we wanted to focus on this one just now. But we have things we're kicking around as far as ideas for different rules we should put in, or XP things. But I think, like Stokes always says, we don't want to get too strict with the XP because, then it just becomes like a pick and a choose thing, right, Stokes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand the reasoning for people being upset about the run block, and I personally I don't agree with JD that it breaks the game. Yes, the wide receivers block the run better, but you have to get out there first. And if you keep them from getting out there, then the wide receiver has no bearing on the play. And I both led the league in rushing and led the league in rushing defense because I understood that fact, and I kept people from getting outside whenever unless of course it was MVP and I'm just spying a guy and getting blasted. But anyway, another thing, I only used run block on one wide receiver, and it didn't really affect me. And when I played JD in the Super Bowl, as much as I want to give him crap for me sitting TW, it didn't change a great deal of the game. I still got over 100 with MG3. I lost the game. So it's not like this wide receiver is going to make a drastic effect on the entire game. The wide receiver may change 1 or 2 runs that over the course of the game. And I just don't think that would be a big enough factor to change wholesale.
I will say the biggest culprit in pancakes is not wide receiver run block. It's people pass committing every play. I mean, to me, I think that's when you're watching a stream and you see a guy get like 7 pancakes on one play, it's not because of wide receiver run block. It's because they're probably just mashing the pass commit.
Ah, interesting.
And then I also learned, as Madden went on, that there was a formula in Madden where if you rushed less than 3 guys, basically the amount of guys you had rushing would increase your odds of not getting pancaked. So if you rush 2, then you're probably going to get pancaked, especially if you're in pass commit. So if you do that, I don't want to FAG defense, the FAG defense, 4th and goal defense. Don't want to offend anybody, but it doesn't mean what you think that word means. If you
That's
do
right.
that, where you drop 10 people into coverage or whatever, you're going to get pancaked, and they did that on purpose. So a trick you would see guys use in MUT games or just guys that understood that formula is they would blitz their user, and then as soon as the play is snapped, they would just run back into coverage. So the game would read 3 rushers, but they'd only have 2, and that would prevent the pancakes. So I know, Stokes, you didn't know that going into the playoffs, and that's what MVP got you with, and we didn't tell you that either, but yeah,
I didn't know that.
So I think there's just certain things in the game where we think we know what the answer is and we don't. But at the same time, I had Sammy Watkins at 90 run block, and I think I had Demaryius Thomas above 80. I could feel the difference. I mean, I could feel the difference. I really could. I feel like Demaryius Thomas was still a better run blocker, though, and I think it probably had to do with he was a stronger wide receiver. But, you know.
So I think that I think they changed that too. The hints that I'm seeing on Twitter and stuff is they'll hint at things like, "Oh, trust us. If you get in quarters versus the run, you're not going to have a good time." Is the kind of the Twitter chatter from Clint and these other guys, and I think may have changed the number of rusher rule to something to do with, are you matched up in the right personnel?
Madden, for the longest time, has needed to come up with a way of punishing guys for not matching up with the right personnel. Now, if you have a guy like Deion Buchanan on the Cardinals, who is basically a defensive back that has the ability to play linebacker also, yeah, I mean, you can come out with more DBs on the field, and he actually got switched to linebacker in the game, but for this example, he's a safety that can play linebacker. Mark Barron's another guy. You should be able to have that flexibility to come out in nickel and go against base with those guys and be all right. But if I'm the Bills and I'm coming out with nickel and I have 5'7" Nickel Roby out there and I'm stopping the run out of base personnel like nothing because my guys are faster than you, yeah, Madden needs to fix that. So hopefully what JD's saying is true. I would love to see the fact that, okay, my opponent's coming out 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end. I need to go out in 4-3, 3-4, whatever to match up, or else it's gonna get run down my throat.
So do you guys like some of the real nerdy technical crap that I posted from Smart Football? Do y'all like that stuff?
I didn't have a chance to read it because you posted it during the day, and I'm pretty much like, I kind of read quickly and then I leave Facebook for 10 or 20 minutes. So I always keep things that I want to read like saved in a link, and I have it saved in my bookmarks, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
So on that, the reason I ask is because on that podcast that they did with I think it was Alan White, it was one of the guys at EA, and he was basically breaking down the way defense worked this year and pattern matching and all that. And there's an article about, and then they mentioned TCU and how they play D. And I found an article that breaks down the TCU defense, and it's exactly what he was talking about how the linebacker walls off the slot streak and how the calls are made and the pattern matching and all that. So if you guys would be interested, I would, I could post that, but it's like a visual breakdown of everything that developer was telling us.
I find it interesting. I think simplified, if people want to think about zone defense in Madden for years has been linebackers, cornerback, safety drops back, and then they just cover an area. Where zone defense in the NFL is not really like that. It's more like you drop back and then you play man defense within your zone.
You make a read, yeah.
So it's different than what we get in Madden. In zone defense in Madden, you just wait for the linebacker to get crossed by a receiver and you time it right and you throw it there. But in real football, he's playing man while he's in front of him, and then once he gets out of his zone, he rubs off, goes to another guy. So he passes him off to the guy in the next zone. So I hope Madden has a way of making that feel more realistic. Stokes, I'm sure as somebody who has a pretty decent football background, you can tell the difference between Madden zones and real zones.
Sure. I mean, I understand that. I mean, there are a lot of differences with how the game football works and how the game should work, and that's essentially the crux. But the same goes in real life. If they see one thing is working in real life, they're not going to stop doing it. So that's where we have to understand that, and that's where the tough balance is. Because if I know the Stanford offense, when Luck was there, they ran power zero like 40 times during their course of the game, but you can't stop it, so they're not gonna stop it. So it's a balancing act when trying to stay as close as possible to real life, but at the same time being not being a dick.
SJR, Cody, how you guys doing? We've kind of been off on a little bit of a tangent here. We don't want to bury the lead here that we did find out your divisions tonight. We know that you guys are all going to the AFC West. It's going to be a tough division. Just overall, your thoughts on this process. I'll start with you, SJR. Any surprises along the way? Any owners going to certain teams that you didn't see that happening?
Oh, let's try to think back here. Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have the team list here in front of me. I'd say probably the most interesting was probably Nino going to Miami. When I would be really, like I said this earlier the other day, I'd be really curious to see how this all would have looked had there not been all these team swaps. Because I don't think Nino and Stokes were probably supposed to be in the same division. Not that they're not totally cool with that, but
I love it.
Probably wasn't supposed to happen.
No,
it's not how it was designed.
That wasn't the original plan.
I think we might show you what it would have looked like if there were no trades made. So I don't know how exactly everybody would take that. Though.
See, that's what I think too. We're gonna have guys that weren't involved in any trades that got bumped from their first team to their third team because we had to balance out a certain conference or whatever. And, we don't want to have guys get upset like, well, I didn't even do anything and I lost my first choice, went down to my third choice. But, the end result is what we were hoping for. And I think, as you guys can see, is we're on track now to achieve balance. And it hasn't been easy. We're always putting our heads together. And we still want to keep on track for 31 guys getting a team on their list because that's the best ratio we've had so far in AFL when we do lists. But it's not going to be as easy as, well, Nino got Pick's team, the Dolphins, so Nino automatically goes where Pick would have wound up, which at this point in time, I mean, he's made so many trades, I don't even know where he went from the result. Oh, he went to Carolina. It doesn't even mean that Nino would have been in Carolina. Right. Every time there was a move, there was a counter move, and we tried to keep it balanced as best we could. I think it'd be interesting for the league to see. We would just need guys to pretty much promise us they weren't going to get mad at us.
Yeah, I'm looking at the teams now. That's probably the one that stands out the most to me. Is everything else is pretty nothing too crazy, I don't think. The NFC South looks pretty competitive, but you guys already touched on that.
Yeah, and I think underrated and sort of forgotten about is the NFC East with Hitman, E-Dub, and Prime. And then JT, who's still new to Madden, so there's a lot of upside there.
Yeah, I just haven't seen enough from Hitman yet. I know can be pretty good. I just haven't seen enough of him. Only haven't played him a handful of times. And I've been in another league with JT. He's a pretty good player. I know he didn't really have a good run here in AFL last year, but he could make some noise, even though that division's pretty tough.
And we're excited about him too because he's an active, good owner that seems like he really likes AFL, and we like him even though Stokes tells him to shut up every time he says anything. Where's your hospitality, Stokes?
I like that guy. He's funny. He's funny.
Is anybody keeping track how much money has changed hands this year? Are we going to beat last year's record?
I think Magic's on top of that. I don't think we're going to beat last year's record, though, unless Vane has a couple more trades up his sleeve.
I was going to say Vane single-handedly is trying to beat that.
I mean, where's he going to go from Seattle, right?
I don't think we're done seeing trades.
I think we might see. I think after the teams are done, where you can pick exactly where you're going to go, I think you might see a couple more. But
I think there's been a lot of chatter here with Mr. Flip out there in San Fran.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to be like AFL Adam Schefter here, but I feel
that team looks pretty attractive now, doesn't it?
I feel very confident that one trade's going to be announced as early as tomorrow, and I feel kind of confident that another trade could be announced tomorrow. So just leave that for people to figure out.
Everybody's gonna start flooding Sham's inbox.
If I'm AFL Adam Schefter, Sham is AFL John Clayton.
Yeah.
Don't make a bald joke and say I should be Clayton Stokes.
I felt it, but I was like, never mind.
I think it's up to me and Cody here to make Bailey and Cheese regret selling out. So that's my goal, whether or not I achieve it.
Dude, I told you we should go get the fucking game and play it the first night.
Cheese has to be
man.
Cheese has to be the winner here, though. I mean, for the amount of money he got to land in Denver.
Yeah.
Whose list did he get?
Got Joker's list, right?
Cheese got... Correct, he got Joker's list.
Wow.
Which kind of begs the question, why did Vane... I mean, maybe Vane has been talking to Pick, and Perhaps Pick was able to have the foresight to be like, hey, Vane, you're going to wind up in a division with Cody, SJR, and Bailey. But, I don't know, $200 to go from, if he knew he was going to Denver, to Seattle. I don't know. Compete.
One thing that's interesting about the AFC West is, at most, I can see two people making the playoffs. Because when you look at the AFC East, I mean, if me or Nino miss the playoffs, that's going to be, like, major AFL news. So I think that it's was that
hashtag humility.
Was that too cocky?
If I miss the playoffs, people are going to be shocked.
Oh gosh! I mean, I didn't think that was too
cocky. The guys will implode.
I tried to cushion it a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
that's fair. You guys have earned that right.
Yeah, I think you guys are safe to say that.
I just don't know how that's going to happen, though, because, I mean, look at the divisions, right? We already know that the West is probably going to beat up on each other a little bit, and then in the South, you do have a clear-cut favorite. No offense, RVD, but I think Danny is the favorite here, and I don't know.
Magic is the favorite in the North, right?
Well. CPU Bengals is going to give him a run for his money right now.
So that was my point, right? So that's my point. Like, are there going to be two power players in the North? I don't think so. So
I mean, we really don't have besides Joker. Who else is out there?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I think the only power player left is Joker. Who do we still have left? We have Cheese Jr., we have Swag, we have Lad Russo. We have Luca. We have T-Mag.
Are you going to put Lad, T-Mag, and Luca in your division, Josh?
I thought about it, but I think that'd be a little too competitive.
Yeah.
Might be.
I would love to see Cheese Jr. with Green Bay and go up against you because he's pretty good. And with an Aaron Rodgers and some receivers, he could make some noise and he could give you some good competition there.
I want to see Joker in that division.
Well,
I don't want to see Joker in the NFC at all.
So that's Joker's punishment for selling out as he gets the Lions.
No, God.
Whose list does Joker have?
I think he has Vane's list, right?
Vane's list, yeah.
Oh, so that's got to be the bottom two.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Joker's very confident he has the Lions. So
Okay.
Good.
So
Keep
then,
him over
so
there.
then you'll have to give somebody like I bet. So Luca's going to end up with maybe the Bengals. No, I don't know how highly he's rated. So who's going to? Okay, that's interesting. I'm curious now.
Another day,
So-
some more
so-
intrigue at the teams.
I have a hunch
So
of how this is
Vlad
going to
gets
play
the
out, but
Bengals.
I won't say anything.
Go for
So-
it. Predict
so
it.
Back for
All right, so T-Mag comes out of this with his favorite team in the Bengals, and rumor has it that Luca had the Ravens on his list possibly, so I could see Luca going to the Ravens. I think JD nailed it. I think Cheese Jr. is going to get Green Bay. Joker's going to be in Detroit. Cleveland and Chicago are a toss-up. I don't know if
Who's
Swag's
left? Who are the two left?
Swag and Lad Russo.
Swag
Oh
is
Swag and
God!
Russo.
So you're gonna have T Mac, Luca, Magic, and possibly Swag.
That would be a power division.
Y'all can't do that. No, that's a travesty. Actually, no, that
and a mockery.
Well, Luca would start every season 6-0.
Ew.
well, I think it would be a battle between Luca and T Mag.
Oh yeah, T-Mag.
So and
Probably not.
clearly he would have the better team. So
Yeah, because who the
I
hell's
could
on
be
the
wrong.
Ravens?
I've been wrong on these
Rashad
before.
Perriman.
That's it.
That's it.
But I mean, there's
That's
only
it.
a handful of possibilities left at this point. So
Well, who's the best team left?
Green Bay,
I would
Or
go
the
Cincy.
Bengals.
I'd go
Or the
Cincy,
Bengals.
I think.
Green Bay or the Bengals. I would say the Bengals are the best all around, but they don't
Chicago
have.
had some decent pieces though too.
Kevin
Yeah.
White. Alshon.
Mhm.
Nice tandem.
Langford, that rookie linebacker who's got super good speed. I can't
Leonard
think.
Floyd.
Leonard Floyd, yeah.
But
They
think
had
about
that
you
last
also
year
got
too.
you also have that Green Bay offensive line. Green Bay is pretty stacked on offense, and you got Fat Eddie, right?
They picked up Jared Cook too.
Yep, that's a good team. Defense, they don't really have any pass rushers, but you can get pass rushers. But I would say that Green Bay is probably great toss up with Green Bay and the Bengals, depending on your flavor of how you like to play.
I think it's going to be interesting to see what kind of speed Gio Bernard gets because he really took a hit last year when speed got nerfed. If he's back up in the 91, 92 range with his acceleration and agility, Stokes, he's going to be. I like that 1-2 punch there.
He had 89 speed in last year.
Wait, what about the agility in Stokes?
Stokes doesn't believe agility is a thing.
What?
What?
Bruh.
I think that's the most important thing.
In his defense,
Bruh.
I need to tell the entire story here. One sec, let me type something because I'm not good at multitasking. In his defense, when he traded for Corey Grant, who has 96, 97 speed, but like 80 agility and like 89 acceleration, I was like, Stokes, he's a garbage back. He's fool's gold. And Stokes was like, dude, agility does not mean that much. And I'm like, trust me, it means a lot. I think JD nailed it one time when he brought up agility. And I'll let you guys talk it. I've talked enough this show. What do you guys think about agility? Because I heard you guys had some opinions on it.
So I had the same situation. Tevin Coleman, right? He's a 93 speed, but like 81, 82 agility back. And you know, even playing Mutt, I've learned so much over the past month using a guy like Dree Archer. And it is so much smoother and easier to cut. Like literally, I can cut around people without even using juke. I can just go left. Like if you just got, precise stick skills a little bit, you can kind of just go whoop, whoop, and run right around them, right? And you can't do that with Tevin Coleman. If you try to do that with Tevin Coleman, he would take this big step, like he would like lunge, like when you change directions, he would plant his foot really hard, and you would just get nailed.
So here's what I think, Stokes, and this is going to be a compliment to you, and I don't like giving you compliments, so just enjoy it.
I've noticed.
I think, Big Head, that you have elite hand-eye coordination. And I think that's one of the reasons why you're really good at Madden and other video games. And I think that you have the ability to see things unfold quicker than the average Madden player. So for someone like me who may not see a defender coming into my zone until like a half second later, and by the time I react, I may not be able to make the cut, having that extra 10 points agility can save me, and then I can get closer to the sideline without running out of bounds, where you already started to make your cut before someone like me could even see there's danger. So maybe agility takes away the need to be as good on the user. Maybe that's my opinion. That might be where I'm going with it. 'Cause I still think agility matters. I feel a huge difference when I'm using somebody.
In other words,
like,
agility gives you some latitude to not make the cut as fast. You can be late.
Like, I enjoyed using LaShawn McCoy better than Carlos Williams, and Carlos Williams has more speed than LaShawn McCoy, but McCoy's got 99 agility.
You can just move. It's like you're skating almost.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. When I got a Jamar Charles, I felt like that was his biggest asset. I mean, his agility was like 97, and that dude was making sicker juke moves than I'd ever seen with anybody else.
You guys are fools.
And the thing about it is, when you watch Stokes run, even though he had a 96 speed running back, he was more of like a downhill runner. I mean, Grant was a big guy. He pushed you over with Grant. Like Charles, I mean, he's going to fall forward just because of his overall. But Grant was like a power back type guy, and what Stokes was really good at is seeing the open hole and committing to his lane, and he would just run in a straight line or maybe adjust just a little bit. Whereas I was like waiting to juke past guys. He was just running to the sideline, and he was like, "I'm going to beat you with my 96 speed," and he did.
Stokes was the classic one cut. And go.
Yeah. That's exactly.
Whereas, like for example, Nino is completely different as a runner. If you watch Nino is run one way, cut back, all those kinds of things.
Right.
Whereas Stokes is like he's B gap, C gap, wherever his gap is, gone. He hits it.
Yeah.
Mike Shanahan would love Stokes.
It's my guy. I understand what you guys are saying. I just I guess it maybe it's different because what I see. Jesus, what I'm seeing in the game, and because I don't use the juke, I don't use spin or anything like that. I just rely on what I'm seeing, and I think the juke is helped by agility because I see the big jump juke, where you get the separation that does come as a factor of agility. So I understand that, but it's something that I don't use, so I don't think it matters.
Right. It's all about style, right? It's all about how you play the game, and certain guys, like for example, for me, I'm a route combination, read the defense, throw to the open guy. So when I see, when I have guys that are 86, I mean, I was rolling with the Patriots with like a Ruben Randall and Aaron Dobson, with 86 speed, and going but nobody else seemed to be able to do that. But that's just my style of play, right? I'm going to run snags and hooks and corners and all these different things to get guys wide open. So it's all about your style.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah, where someone like Joker, he's going to go downfield, so he wants the speed. He cares about route running a little bit, but he's going to go downfield. He's going to find holes in your zone 30 yards downfield. He wants guys that can expose you in coverage down there. So yeah, it's different flavors for everybody. I don't know. I think there's something to what Luca just said. Joker is an average passer at best.
Oh, Jesus.
A natural Alex Smith.
Oh, wait. Are we talking about Joker season 1 or are we talking about Joker season 8?
Well, that's a good point. Not really, though. I think Joker's getting roasted on this show. And Joker's got a mediocre user, too.
Joker was doing things to my cover 4 defenses 50 yards downfield in season 1 that people weren't doing to me until season 6. I mean, when I played him, it was like, and y'all know I was allowing 7 to 10 points a game, but when I played Joker, he'd throw for 450 yards.
Was he ghost posting you?
No,
there's that word again.
It was legit.
No, yeah, he was just getting out. He was rolling out into the flat, and and he would just find these open men downfield. I mean, it was crazy.
When I
And
played
it would pass lead.
when I play Joker, I never get the sense he's doing anything dirty. I think he understands the passing game as well as anybody. You just said the thing about pass lead. It's so frustrating. It's like 3rd and 6. You're like, I'm finally going to get Joker off the field. He has nobody open. And then he throws a low lead pass to the tight end's feet, and he catches it, and that's the one spot he could throw it to. And I'm sitting there thinking, if I was in his shoes, I would have been so excited that the tight end looked open. I just would have held down the X button. I would not have even thought to myself, like, okay, pass lead down, aim at this. Like, it's impressive. Yeah. So give the devil his due. He's going to need all of that if he's going to Detroit like he thinks he is. Because Golden Tate.
You pretty much have his number, don't you, Josh?
I had his number in 16, but I'd say over the course of our history in Madden, I'd say we're probably about as even as it gets.
Joke and I have come to an agreement. I'm going to teach him how to run the ball. He's going to show me some things on passing the ball. So that should be fun.
Oh boy, look out.
The thing about Joker is he and I are just completely two different styles. Like, he wants to get into a game where he gets a 14-point lead, it forces you to throw the ball, and then his defense is going to be like the old Colts defense when Peyton Manning was putting up 40 points a game, and he wants to be a front runner on defense and just get sacks and user picks nonstop. My offense is, I don't want to turn the ball over, I want to run the ball, I want to move the chains, I want to make your offense sit on the sideline, and then I want to scheme against your offense, frustrate you for a few drives, and then by the time you kind of figure out what I'm doing, I have a plan B in place, and then I also hopefully have a lead and you're kind of in panic mode. So he and I are just like water and oil when it comes to Madden.
Do you know what I think would be really cool for the league? And I know this is going to start something, but you know what I think would be cool is if the guys who had certain things that they were really good at, the Ninos, the Jokers, Stokes, yourself, Josh, if you had certain things that you were good at, some videos that you make and say, here's what I'm looking at, here's what I'm seeing, and just raise the entire level of the league.
Time the F else.
Am I getting no credit for those videos I put out there?
What do you mean?
So maybe first, Stokes is gonna be mad. I'll let Stokes rant on you in a second. But so Nino was on after winning the Super Bowl after restart season 2, and Stokes and Nino and I were talking on the show, and we said, "Oh, it's season 3. Maybe we should do some things to help guys out." Well, after 3 or 4 different games, I would go back into replay and I'd show a concept I used that a lot of guys don't use, like red zone defense. And I went through the entire replay, like showed different angles, did like the all 22 cam, and would do like a 4-minute review on just one play. It's up on AFL Madden on YouTube. You may not have seen it. You had a little bit of an excuse not to be fully engaged in season 3, so I'm going to give you an out for that one. I'd say you had like a 6-pound excuse, a 7-pound excuse.
She has a 9-pound excuse.
9-pound excuse. So okay, we'll let that slide. And then Mr. Stokes took it up a notch with his. Go ahead, Stokes. Let him have it.
Bruh, I was commentating all my freaking games. I was telling anybody who watched, I would tell them exactly what I'm seeing, pre-play, post, all that crap. So I don't know what you mean.
Well,
I just didn't know. So
I think it's a great idea. Now, like Stokes is probably not going to commentate in September, and I'm probably not going to be putting out plays in September because we're all still learning the game. I think it's a great thing, though, like once November, December, January rolls around and we've
March, April,
May. Once we've established who's like really good or whatever, once I've won 3 or 4 bowls in Madden 17, I just don't have any more room on the trophy case.
Those will be your first ones, right?
No, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, Stokes, but I've won 2 bowls in AFL.
Oh, you won? Oh, damn.
Yeah, I know it's confusing because I made it to 2 in restart and won 1, but...
that makes sense.
We can get into that offline, though. And we will.
Mine almost has an asterisk next to it, so I won't even talk about it.
There's no asterisk. If K. Will doesn't get an asterisk, you don't get one.
He does. K. Will gets one.
You smashed... I think SJR has the only Super Bowl in the history of AFL where he had to, like, finish it up against the computer because they got disconnected at halftime.
Oh.
And Gambino was down by, like, 40 points, and he was like, fuck this.
Damn.
Oh, that's not an asterisk. You blew him out.
No, I think his asterisk he's thinking of is the fact that he played Gambino in the Super Bowl.
Oh.
Yeah.
But in Joker's defense, Gambino beat E-Dub in the conference championship game. And SJR may have beaten Sham.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
I can't confirm or deny it.
I remember I didn't really have to play anybody in that particular bracket because somebody upset Cheese too, so I didn't really have to play anybody.
You know,
But I'll take it.
It wasn't SJR that beat Sham. Sham ended up going to the conference championship game in AFL Madden PS4 restart. What SJR is talking about is the AFL Madden PS4 league that was actually non-restart. So then half our league wasn't even on PS4 yet. Then you take half of those guys and kick them out because we're going to restart. And that's when Sham makes to the conference championship game against Bailey. And Bailey played some guy named like Tyler Huss in the Super Bowl, and then he played Rilo in the Super Bowl. And I think a lot of guys like Joker and Cheese and SJR, and they're a little bitter they couldn't collect a couple trophies there when AFL wasn't quite at its tops. I wasn't in that league. I don't think SJR. I think you pieced out at that point too, didn't you?
Yeah, I think by that point I was done. But I think actually Sham might have beat me in the playoffs in that restart league.
I know Joker,
So.
Nino, Stokes wasn't there. KJ may have been gone at that point. So, yeah, it wasn't what we have today. Let's just say that. Nobody was buying a spot in AFL in that league. But we found Mega out of the whole deal.
That works.
So, works out well.
Yeah, Sham did beat me in the wild card round and restart, and I think I was done after that. I think I quit.
Well, nobody can blame you for that one.
He just user de-tackled you to death, huh?
I don't really remember much from that game. I'm sure Sham can tell you all about it, though.
There was some really heavy drinking that went on after that game, so SJR's brains.
But that's the thing. Like if you're an inside zone guy or a dive guy or something like that, and a guy's using the D-tackle, all they got to do is time the snap and then press X, and they're just standing there with their arms out, and they just slam you. It's pretty ridiculous, actually.
I'll give Sham.
Looks like I lost to Bailey in the last season.
Okay.
Of that restart, so I did stick it out.
Oh, wow. Well, you're the man. I bailed after 2 seasons of 25. I don't even remember the reason why, but I probably need to when the next history show gets going. So, all right, guys. Well, this was fun. We were on the air for an hour and a half tonight, and
So it was going to be a quick show.
it was going to be a quick show. I have some breaking news, but if you guys want to get out of here, we can just get out of here.
Break it.
Want to break it? We have a trade to announce in AFL.
Nice.
Of course we do.
Break it like Stokes broke the game.
Bailey spent about the same amount of time in San Diego as Eli Manning did on draft night. Eli Manning got drafted by the Chargers and then immediately got traded. Bailey is heading to presumably Detroit. He's sold for Joker's list.
No.
Oh boy.
And Joker is heading to the NFC West. And the reason why this happened is because Bailey is a Lions fan and Joker is a Chargers fan. They both get their teams. And Joker, from his standpoint, he knows he's about 90% sure getting the Lions. But I think if I have this right, his other option is the Bengals. Let me see. There's so much going on. So Bailey's definitely going. No. Okay. Joker's definitely going to San Diego. Bailey knows that Joker's most likely Detroit, so he's either going to go to Detroit or maybe the Bengals. So that's what they're thinking.
Dang it, Bailey.
So Joker is now in our division.
Yes. So now your division is Cheese, Joker, SJR, and Cody. What's up, Cheese? What's up, Cody and SJR? How you guys doing?
I mean, that's an equal swap in my opinion. So whatever.
It's about as lateral as moves you can get.
I don't know, man. Bailey's defense is way better. And no offense, Joker, but Bailey's
offense is probably
well, but Bailey's the guy that will go and watch all your streams, memorize everything you do, and then come at you with a game plan for that game. And I mean, especially in the playoffs, and you'll go in the game and it's like he's reading your mind.
Just for clarity, since I know I fumbled through that, Joker is saying that based on the lists, it's definitely Detroit for San Diego, based on the lists that they discussed. So that's why they made the trade. So
So are we just going to do one show and announce the last 5 teams since we already know?
I mean,
all of it?
I'm not ready to say he's definitely San Diego because I don't have the list in front of me, and
Detroit.
I'm not going to give me. Detroit, but he's confident, and I'm trusting the fact that Joker's probably done the math on this and wouldn't just trade away for no reason. So Joker is without question going to San Diego, and Bailey, for what we can assume, is going to Detroit to be in my division, which puts Bailey and myself in the same division. So JD, I thought I was going to stack this in my favor.
Yeah, you are in a much different position now.
Mm-hmm. Come on, lad.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't matter though, right? I mean, you could put whoever else you want, because look at the NFC, right? If Joker's there, then you've got E-Dub and Prime and Hitman, you've got Josh and Bailey, you've got me and KJ, and you've got
The NFC West.
maybe Vane. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, one of
Who's
them's
gonna
going to get an automatic, so it doesn't matter.
But you've got like 4 really quality players that are going to be fighting for those 2 spots.
And let's not forget, guys, the NFC West it looks bad, right? But they get to play each other 6 times. Like each gets 6 of those games. So even if Costa wins the division, there's nothing that says Vane doesn't rattle off 10 wins because he sweeps Trump, he sweeps Flip, maybe splits with Costa, and there's 5 wins right there.
Yep.
So it's going to be fun. I think everybody on this show right now, SJR, Cody, JD, myself, Stokes, we're all in the same position where we better win our division because who the hell knows what's going to happen with the wild card situation. And none of us, I think, are the favorites to win our division. I think at best it's 50-50.
Hey, bro,
It's 50-50.
And there's only 2 people in AFL. I think I could be wrong, but there's only 2 people in AFL I've never beaten, and that's KJ and Bailey.
You've never beaten Stokes, though, have you?
Yes, once.
I don't remember. You have to tell the story.
It's hard to remember. Something about a linebacker, I think.
Well, I know a thing or two about beating KJ.
Oh, God.
It happened in a bowl.
Oh, did it?
Percy Harvin was wide open.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Guys, should we just do the rest of the teams on the next show? It seems kind of redundant just to do one division at a time.
Sure.
Yep.
Let's just make an executive call here. All right. Guys, this Thursday, AFL Full 32 announced. Boom. Be there or be square.
And then we can have a show on Sunday after we have a bunch more trades.
Yeah, and then every 2 days,
rearrangement show.
every 2 days we'll recap more trades.
Steve,
So-
you better not trade your spot in this division.
Hey,
There has
I'm
that.
kind
Those
I'm
shows have to be complete with money updates as well.
Yeah, I'm excited about the division, but I think the Raiders are a pretty popular team. I think Josh said they were the second sought after team. So
If my SJR is the list, or not SJR, I'm sorry, you're SJR. RVD is the list guy. But in my recollection, Stokes, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Jacksonville and Oakland were 1A and 1B.
Pretty sure.
Huh.
Don't do it.
Somebody needs to jump to Flip's spot and just realize, like, you can build a team, but you can't build a division like that.
Well, what's Danny doing in PS4?
Danny has picked, 16 right now? He could take the Niners if he wants them. Danny, what are you doing in PS4? He's in chat right now, I think. Lucas says he's going to the Niners.
I don't think that you are giving Costa enough credit. Like, I think Costa's a pretty sharp guy, and if he really focuses like he says he's going to, I think he could really progress this year. He's not a bad gamer.
I mean,
We'll
this
see.
year was the first time he'd ever made the playoffs in the NFL. Ever. I mean, ever.
So
I think if I had to make a prediction year 1 who was going to win the division, I would pick Costa. I'll say.
I couldn't disagree.
I would pick Trump. I mean, not Trump. I would pick Vane because he's got the best team, and because he seems to be. Of course, well, that depends on him. If he misses 4 games and has them simmed, I don't know.
I don't see Vane winning that division for sure.
I think Costa gets a bad rap on this show because of the playoff streak. He will be the first one to tell you. But he is usually an 8-8 guy that's on the cusp of making the playoffs. And the thing about Costa, Trump, and Flip that are going to separate them from Vane over time, Costa and Trump, in my opinion, are the two best team builders in AFL. I'm excluding myself from that because obviously I think I'm a great team builder. I wouldn't think I was a shitty one because what the hell. But I think Costa, just from an outsider's perspective, they're the two best. And Costa's already got a team that's pretty well built. And Trump is going to make that Rams team look really nice. He had the Niners looking really nice last year. Flip is a solid team builder but relies more on elite picks to do so. But he's not afraid to trade anybody. On the other hand, Vane is a terrible team builder, in my opinion. I think he makes really questionable moves, like forgets to re-sign J.J. Nelson and loses him to free agency.
Yeah, I would say questionable.
Hey,
definitely.
who picked him up first? Nino?
Nino picked him up and then traded him to Luca, who obviously
Oh,
needed more
I was
speed.
so pissed off about that.
Dude, we were all on a call. It was like Nino, Luca, myself, and I don't know, I think Hitman or whatever. And Nino got off the call and went to free agency and picked him up right before Luca. And Luca was pissed.
And that was only Nino's second slimiest move of Madden 16. The first one was when KJ had agreed to trade for Allen Robinson from T-Mag, had the deal in place. Now remember, KJ and Nino were division rivals. The deal got denied by the trade mods, but it was denied with like, okay, guys, go rework this deal. And while it was getting reworked, Nino swooped in and made a deal with T-Mag and got Allen Robinson to keep him away from KJ. Slimy may not be the right word. I mean, smart could be the right word.
You know, you guys ever watch Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Nino's like Mark Cuban. Like he just sits there and doesn't say anything, and then when he finds out what the negotiations of the deal will be, he's like, "Oh, I'll do that for 2% less," and steals it from everyone. That's Nino.
That I think SJR, we lost him. His phone died. Guys, anything else tonight? We've had a pretty action-packed show. We got a drugged-up JD. We are missing RVD and Magic tonight. They had some prior commitments. We expect them back with us on Thursday. This team selection process has been fun. We expect to wrap it up now on Thursday with the reveal of the Packers, the Bears, the Browns, the Bengals, the Ravens, and if you believe what Joker says, then the Lions will be going to Bailey. So I'm looking forward
The fun
to it.
won't end there. There will be something coming up probably over the weekend since we'll be done with this on Thursday.
Well, the trade that went down tonight was the one that I was super confident was going to get announced tomorrow. But I still think we have a chance. I need to talk to AFL John Clayton to see if it's going to happen or not. But Sham private messaged me. But the trade, and it's not involving Sham, the trade that could go down tomorrow, keep your eye out for. So,
Dun, dun, dun.
Cool.
dun, dun, dun. It's never boring.
That's
I mean,
right.
think about it, guys. We are sitting here doing a podcast. PS4 chat is so full you almost have to scroll down to see all the names.
And it's July.
And it's the end of July. We couldn't be... We're like right in the middle of Madden 16 being relevant and Madden 17 releasing. We're like in that dead period, and we're all in Madden mode. So it's fun. That means you got a good core, guys.
How are we going to fill the next 3 weeks?
I am going to be doing the history shows with Stokes and these guys, but then I'm also going to personally just decompress all things Madden and be ready for a refresh.
This is the time where you spend as much time with your significant other as you can.
Yes.
It's like we're going off to war. It's like we're going to.
Yes.
It's like we're going to Iraq.
Yeah, man, you gotta build up the.
Hug your children.
Great.
Wait, is
Tell
this the
your
point?
wife, go on
Is
a
this
date
the
with your
point?
wife.
Is this the point of the year where we like all like each other and then a month later we just fucking hate each other's guts?
Yeah, Bailey and I are in chat arguing, "You motherfucker, you ran the kickoff audible glitch or whatever he said."
Only cheese though.
Oh man, oh man.
Cheese only shows up when he's like pissed off at somebody.
All
You
right,
notice
Cody,
that?
we got to get this out there. Are you a stand up or sit down guy?
It depends on the moment. Normally I'm sitting down in my computer chair, but if I need a play, I'm standing up.
Wow, there's a lot of standers. I couldn't do it.
I don't stand up.
Indeed.
Compared to just sitting down, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like at a much worse angle because the TV I have is right at eye level. So if I stand up, I'm looking down on the game, and it looks a lot different than me.
Yeah, my TV's lifted up pretty high. So
Danny makes a good point. If JD was a stander, he's not for the next few weeks.
No. No.
So
Stand on one leg.
there you go. Whoa! And then one of your kids comes in and pushes you over.
It wouldn't take much.
Nope. All right, guys. It was fun. Cody, thanks for calling in, man. Your podcast debut.
Yep.
All right, so we have the Chiefs owner, Cody. We have the Falcons owner, JD. We have the Bills owner, Stokes. And myself, Josh, the Vikings owner. All right, guys. We'll talk to you next time on AFL Team Selection.
See ya.
See you.
Yeah.
Nino's making fun of me for saying goodbye 6 times, so I'm going to do it again. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. All right, guys. We'll see you.